The warm sunlight of Nova Terrestria stretched across the purple grasslands, casting long shadows over the small family farm. Seok Park stood quietly near the window, watching his 12-year-old daughter Jaeun carefully tending to the hybrid crop rows. Her small hands moved with practiced precision, checking each plant's moisture levels and examining the unusual greenish-purple leaves that were uniquely adapted to this distant planet. Jaeun wore her typical work outfit, a simple gray jumpsuit, with dirt-stained knees and rolled-up sleeves. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, strands escaping and dancing around her focused face. She loved working with plants, a passion she had inherited from her father. Seok observed her, with a mixture of pride and caution. His daughter didn't know about his past, about the years he had spent serving in military operations that most humans would never understand. To her, he was just a quiet farmer who had chosen to leave Earth and start a new life on this distant colony. Their farmstead was located in one of Nova Terrestria's most peaceful regions. Surrounding their home were rolling landscapes of alien vegetation, plants that seemed to shimmer and change color depending on the time of day. Nearby, other settler families from different species worked their own plots, creating a diverse and mostly harmonious community. "Dad?" Jaeun called, her voice breaking through his thoughts. "Can you help me move the irrigation pipes? The new saplings need more water today." Seok smiled and walked out, his movements still carrying a hint of the military precision he had never fully abandoned. Together, they worked side by side, moving heavy water pipes and adjusting the complex irrigation system that kept their crops alive in this challenging environment. The colony was a delicate mix of human and alien settlers. Nearby, Korean traders from a reptilian species worked their mineral extraction sites, while avian-like Brika researchers studied the planet's unique ecosystem. Humans like Seok and Jaeun were just one part of this intricate community. As the day progressed, Jaeun told her father about her dreams. She wanted to become a planetary botanist, studying how different plant species could survive and adapt to alien environments. Her excitement was infectious, and Seok listened carefully, remembering how different his own youth had been. In the late afternoon, they sat on the small porch of their simple prefab house. The twin suns of the system began to set, painting the sky in impossible shades of orange and deep purple. Distant mountains looked like silhouettes against the vibrant background. "Tell me a story about Earth," Jaeun requested, a ritual they had maintained since she was small. Seok knew she loved hearing about the planet their ancestors had come from, a world she had never seen. He began to speak, his voice low and steady. He told her about forests with trees hundreds of years old, about oceans that stretched beyond the horizon, and about cities that touched the sky. Jaeun listened, her eyes wide with wonder. As night approached, they prepared dinner together. Simple food, synthesized proteins, vegetables from their own garden, and nutrient supplements typical of colony life. They talked about mundane things, the next day's farming tasks, a communication they had received from a distant relative back on Earth, and the upcoming colony festival. Neither of them knew that this peaceful evening was the calm before a storm that would change everything. The Crimson Syndicate's ships were already approaching, their weapons charged, their intentions deadly. Jaeun went to bed early, tired from a day of hard work. Seok remained awake a little longer, cleaning equipment and checking the farm's security systems. Something in the back of his mind felt uneasy, a feeling left over from years of military training. The night was unusually quiet. Most colony residents were asleep, their homes dark and peaceful. Seok Park sat near the window, his enhanced senses alert to something he couldn't quite identify. A strange vibration in the air, a tension that made the hair on his neck stand up. Suddenly, the first plasma bolt cut through the darkness. It struck the nearby communication relay, sending a burst of electric blue light across the sky. Jaeun jerked awake, her young eyes wide with confusion and fear. "Dad?" she called out, her voice trembling. Before Seok could respond, multiple attack ships descended. They were sleek and deadly, vessels of the Crimson Syndicate, their hull markings revealing a ruthless alien combat unit. Plasma weapons erupted, turning the peaceful farmland into a war zone in seconds. Jae-yoon moved quickly, her father's training unconsciously guiding her actions. She grabbed the emergency communication device, trying to send a warning to other colony settlers. Her fingers moved rapidly across the device's surface, her heart racing. Outside, alien soldiers began their ground assault. They were brutal and efficient, tall, muscular creatures with metallic armor and advanced weapon systems. Their language was a series of harsh clicks and mechanical sounds, completely alien and terrifying. Seok knew these attackers. He recognized their combat formation, their tactical approach. Something about this attack felt personal, planned. They weren't here for resources or territory. They were hunting something. Or someone. "Stay inside," Seok commanded Jae-yoon, his voice calm but firm. He moved with a speed that seemed impossible for a normal human. His muscles tensed, years of military conditioning flooding back into his body. Jae-yoon watched in horror as her father grabbed an old weapon case hidden beneath the floor. She had never seen this side of him before, a warrior ready to fight, eyes cold and calculating. The attack was precise. The Crimson Syndicate soldiers moved through the settlement, destroying communication towers, burning smaller structures, eliminating any potential resistance. Their goal seemed to be complete destruction of the human settlement. Jae-yoon tried to help. She understood the colony's emergency protocols, but in that moment of chaos, a plasma bolt found its target. She was struck directly, her body thrown backward by the incredible force. Shock turned, watching in slow motion as his daughter fell. The world around him seemed to stop. Years of training, of carefully hidden past, of peaceful living, all disappeared in that single moment. The alien soldiers didn't realize what they had done. They saw a simple colony, a potential threat eliminated. They didn't understand the warrior they had just provoked. They didn't know about Seok Park's true identity. Blood leaked from Jae-yoon's wound. Her breathing became shallow. The communication device she had been using fell from her hand, its screen flickering with an incomplete emergency message. Seok's eyes changed. Something inhuman emerged, a coldness, a rage that had been waiting, buried deep inside him. The genetic modifications, the years of secret military training, the protective instinct of a father, all converged in that single moment. The Crimson Syndicate soldiers continued their assault, moving systematically through the settlement. They believed their mission was almost complete. They thought they had eliminated any potential resistance. They were wrong. Jae-yoon's body lay still, her young life slipping away. But her death would become the trigger for something the alien attackers could never have anticipated. Her father was about to become their worst nightmare. In the burning remains of the settlement, surrounded by destruction and death, Seok Park began to transform. No longer a peaceful farmer, he was reverting to what he had been created to be, the most dangerous weapon humanity had ever developed. The Crimson Syndicate had made a fatal mistake. They had killed a daughter, and now her father would make them pay. The moment Jae-yoon fell, something inside Seok Park changed. His body, which had remained dormant for years, suddenly hummed with an unnatural energy. Genetic modifications that had been suppressed for a decade began to reactivate, coursing through his veins like liquid fire. Military implants hidden beneath his skin started to pulse. Tiny microchips embedded in his nervous system came to life, connecting neural pathways that had been deliberately shut down during his years of peaceful farming. Each breath became calculated, each movement precise. Seok walked to a hidden panel in the farm's storage room. His fingers, moving with mechanical precision, entered a complex sequence that no ordinary human could replicate. A secret compartment opened, revealing advanced tactical gear and communication devices that looked like they belonged to a high-tech military operation. The suit he pulled out was unlike anything used by current military units. Nano-adaptive material that could change color and texture, providing perfect camouflage in any environment. Embedded with quantum processing units, the suit was more than just clothing. It was a complete combat system. As he dressed, memories flooded back. Memories of Project Omega. the top-secret human enhancement program that had transformed ordinary soldiers into something beyond human. SciFi had been their most successful prototype, a living weapon designed to adapt and survive in the most extreme conditions. Outside, the Crimson Syndicate continued their assault. They believed they had completed their mission, eliminating the human settlement with surgical precision. They did not know the true horror that was about to be unleashed. SciFi's eyes changed. The soft brown color disappeared, replaced by a steel gray that seemed to scan and process information faster than any normal human eye could. His pupils dilated, revealing complex neural networks that could process tactical information in milliseconds. He accessed a hidden communication network, his fingers moving across a holographic interface that materialized from a small wrist device. Encrypted channels came to life, revealing the locations of the Crimson Syndicate assault teams. The first targets were identified, not random selections, but a precise calculation of those directly responsible for Jae-eun's death. Each coordinate was marked, each movement predicted with mathematical certainty. Muscle groups that had been dormant for years began to transform. Enhanced protein structures rewove themselves, creating strength beyond human limitations. Bone density increased, reflexes sharpened, and metabolic processes accelerated to impossible levels. Weapon systems integrated into his suit came online. Plasma-based weaponry, micro-missile launchers, and energy absorption capabilities that could turn incoming attacks into additional power. SciFi was no longer just a human. He was a walking weapon system. The Crimson Syndicate had no idea what was coming. They had attacked what they thought was a simple farming settlement. They had killed an innocent girl, believing she was insignificant. They did not understand the connections, the love, the rage of a father transformed into a weapon. SciFi's first move was strategic. He wouldn't rush. Each step would be calculated, each attack precise. The genetic modifications gave him abilities far beyond standard combat training. He could predict enemy movements, analyze tactical situations in microseconds, and adapt faster than any computer system. Communication intercepts revealed the Syndicate's next targets. Nearby human settlements were at risk. But SciFi's primary mission was clear: hunt down those responsible for Jae-eun's death. As dawn approached, SciFi Park finished preparing. The peaceful farmer was gone. In his place stood a weapon, a father's. Love transformed into the most dangerous hunting system ever created. The Crimson Syndicate had made a mistake. They had awakened something they could not understand, could not stop, and could not hope to survive. The hunt began with cold precision. SciFi tracked the Crimson Syndicate members like a ghost, moving through alien landscapes with impossible stealth. Each target was carefully selected, their movements predicted, their vulnerabilities mapped. His first target was Commander Kral, the squad leader responsible for the initial attack. The alien lived on a heavily guarded research station orbiting a nearby gas giant. Security systems that would stop any normal infiltrator were child's play for SciFi's enhanced capabilities. In less than 3 hours, Kral disappeared. No alarms, no signs of struggle, just a complete absence, as if the commander had been erased from existence. The Crimson Syndicate communication channels began to buzz with nervous energy. The second target was more complex. A tactical officer, named Vex, who had personally fired the plasma weapon that struck Jae-eun. SciFi discovered his location in a crowded trading hub on the moon of Epsilon Prime. Hundreds of alien species moved through the complex, providing perfect cover. Vex never saw it coming. One moment he was reviewing mission reports, the next he was simply gone. The only evidence was a small burn mark where he had been sitting, too clean to be a normal weapon's signature. Each elimination was a message. Each target vanished without a trace, leaving the Crimson Syndicate leadership in complete terror. They began to realize they were being hunted by something beyond their understanding. SciFi's augmented systems worked constantly. He could track multiple targets simultaneously, predict their movements, and create elaborate traps that seemed impossible. His body was a walking computer, processing information faster than any alien technology could detect. The third target was more difficult, a weapons specialist named Drawl, who was constantly moving between different star systems. Sayok spent days tracking his quantum signature, waiting for the perfect moment of vulnerability. When the moment came, it was devastating. Drawl's ship simply stopped responding. No explosion, no distress signal, just complete silence. Another ghost in the vast darkness of space. The Crimson Syndicate began to panic. Their top operatives were disappearing one by one with no explanation. Communication channels became paranoid, filled with fear and confusion. They knew a hunter was in their midst, but couldn't understand its nature. Sayok moved like a shadow. His modified body could survive in multiple environments: space, extreme temperatures, toxic atmospheres. He was no longer bound by human limitations. Each movement was a calculated risk, each action designed to maximize precision and minimize detection. Intelligence gathering became his primary weapon. He didn't just eliminate targets, he destroyed their entire operational network. Communication lines were compromised, secret bases were identified, hidden resources were exposed. The aliens began to spread rumors. Stories of a human demon that could not be stopped, a vengeful spirit that moved through their systems like a virus. Some said it was a weapon, others claimed it was something supernatural. Only Sayok knew the truth. He was a father seeking justice for his daughter. Each eliminated target was another step closer to complete revenge. The genetic modifications, the years of training, the pain of loss, all transformed into a perfect hunting system. By the time he reached his seventh target, the Crimson Syndicate was in complete disarray. Their leadership began to fracture, their operations collapse. They had made a fatal mistake in attacking a simple colony, in killing an innocent girl. They did not understand the power of a father's love. They did not know what happens when that love is combined with the most advanced human weapon system ever created. The final confrontation would happen on the Crimson Syndicate's central command station, a massive structure orbiting a dying star. Sayok had methodically eliminated every defensive layer, every protection system, leaving the leadership exposed and vulnerable. Intelligence revealed the entire senior command would gather for an emergency meeting. Their fear had transformed into desperation. They believed they could develop a strategy to stop the mysterious hunter who had decimated their ranks. Sayok's approach was silent. His modified suit absorbed all radiation, all heat signatures. To any scanning system, he was nothing more than background space debris. Quantum camouflage technology made him invisible, even to the most advanced alien detection systems. The station's central chamber was massive, a circular room with holographic displays showing galactic maps and strategic information. 12. Senior commanders sat around a circular platform, their alien forms representing different subspecies of the Crimson Syndicate. As the meeting began, Sayok was already inside. His neural implants calculated multiple attack vectors, potential escape routes, and optimal elimination strategies. Each movement was precise, each breath controlled. The first indication of his presence was when the holographic displays suddenly went dark. Communication systems crashed simultaneously. Panic began to spread among the commanders. One by one they fell. Not through violence, but through perfectly calculated attacks that exploited their individual weaknesses. Some died from targeted neural disruptions, others from metabolic shutdowns that appeared completely natural. The station's artificial gravity began to fluctuate. Emergency systems failed. What had been a secure command center became a tomb within minutes. By the time the last commander realized what was happening, only 3 remained alive. They understood now that this was no random attack. This was targeted, specific revenge. The final commander, a high-ranking official named Zork, tried to activate an emergency escape pod. His hand never reached the activation switch. Sayok's modified neural network had already predicted and blocked the movement. "You killed my daughter," Sayok spoke. His voice was calm, almost emotionless. Now, you understand what it means to lose everything. The station's systems began a complete shutdown. Oxygen levels dropped. Emergency protocols failed. It was a perfect execution of tactical elimination. News of the Crimson Syndicate's complete destruction spread quickly across multiple star systems. Human colonies that had lived in fear suddenly found themselves liberated. The powerful alien organization that had terrorized multiple planets was gone. Galactic communication networks buzzed with speculation. Some claimed it was a massive military operation. Others spoke of a ghost, a single warrior who had brought down an entire organization. Siak had one final task. He uploaded complete documentation of the Crimson Syndicate's crimes: illegal weapons, development colony destructions, systematic oppression of multiple species. Every secret, every dark operation was now exposed to the entire galactic community. The station began to break apart, its massive structure collapsing in on itself. Siak's escape was calculated. Perfect. He left no trace, no evidence beyond the destruction itself. Back on Nova Terrestria, he returned to the small farm where everything had begun. The burned structures, the memory of Jayun, remained as a silent reminder of why he had started this journey. Human colonies across different star systems would tell the story for generations. The tale of a father who brought down an entire galactic organization to avenge his daughter. A warning to those who would dare harm the innocent. Sauk Park disappeared, becoming nothing more than a legend. A ghost story told among alien species. The human who could not be stopped, who represented the most dangerous potential of human survival. Justice had been served. Not through legal systems, not through diplomatic channels, but through a father's love and a soldier's precision. The galaxy would remember this moment. The day when one man showed the universe the true meaning of revenge.